Alright, so here's the deal. My name's Aristype, I like LCS, I like Snorlax, and I decided to make a power ranking video on all the LCS teams leading up to the Lock In tournament. Here are my qualifications, and let's get right into it. Alright, so starting out last place, no one's surprised, it's going to be Dignitas. Visa issues have been messing them apart. They're not going to be starting with FBI or Ignar, instead running Mobility and Breezy. So even without that, I'd probably still rank Dig absolute last place. Now, absolutely love Photon. Really sad Photon ended up on Dig jail. I think he looked really good in the LEC. I was really impressed with him. XU looked pretty damn solid on DSG. They got the pieces. However, midfielder Palafaker is on an absolute fraud watch. He looked like shit last season to a point where I don't know how he even ended up on another team. I'm happy for him, don't get me wrong. No one likes to see these players go, but I don't know. I always feel like Dig's the type of team where you could somehow get Faker on this roster and they'd still somehow snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. So until I see anything more, could be ranked higher with FBI and Ignar, but for now, Dignitas is ranked solidly in last place. Alright, so next up in the ranking, I've got DSG at 7th. I have been a huge Castle fan for years now. I do think Castle's an amazing piece. Kryra got to Challenger first of the season. Big for him, but you know, honestly, I've been noticing getting rank 1, getting Challenger first, all that doesn't seem to super translate super well into LCS, and looking mainly at U30. Calmy looked pretty damn good in EMEA. I liked him there. And as a former LCKCL prospect, he'll probably be pretty alright. Sajed? I don't know how to say his name, but Sajed looked really good in NACL and has been hyped as a prospect for a pretty damn long time. I do think he'll be a little rusty coming out the gate, which is part of the reason I have DSG pretty low now. But honestly, I do think they could be pretty solid. They also have Lions on support, so that's fine. That's whatever. Alright, so in 6th place, this is going to be a little controversial, a little wild, a little out there. I've got FlyQuest in 6th place. Now, don't get me wrong, super excited about Cryogen, super excited about Griffin. I think you give this squad a little bit of time, they could easily be top 4 in the LCS. However, this is just for lock-in, and I think losing Inspired and Busio is going to make a huge impact. They were both the heart and soul of the team, the decision makers. They dictated how the team wanted to play, kind of including Bubba, who likes Bubba. So I think replacing them both with rookies is gonna have some issues in the short term for this team. Now, don't get me wrong, Gakos and Masu look insane. Masu is probably top 3 AD carry in the West. Gakos looked really, really strong in the few games he played. Quad's a pretty stable mid laner, nothing really negative to say about him. I just think replacing your 2 shot callers with rookies isn't going to do good for lock-in. Off raw talent alone, I think they could probably get 6th though. So moving on to 5th, and this one's going to be really controversial because of the moves they made in the offseason. I think Shopify is going to live or die by Zinni, and I think in the short term they're going to die by Zinni. So they're already having visa issues. They got resolved, as far as I know, yesterday, so he should be here for the first tournament, for the first weekend of the tournament. But the issue with that is they didn't have very much scrim time, not a lot of time to mesh. Outside of boot camping in Korea, which I don't know if Shopify did, it's going to be a little bit rough for them. You're pretty much relying entirely on Fudge, who, don't get me wrong, last year looked pretty solid, but during the end of his Cloud9 stint, didn't look the greatest. And Contracts, who has ridiculously high highs, but also has some absolute coin flip weird games in the middle of there. And Bavoy, who is world's #1 KDA player. Love that guy, he's world's #1 KDA player. They also have Seos, and okay, Seos is alright. Heart of Brazil, you know, he's the GOAT, but like, yeah, he's not that great by LCS support standards. They are going to entirely be based on how good Zinni is right out the gate, how fast Zinni can grow, and how fast Zinni can mesh with the rest of the team. If he meshes really well, it could be higher, but I think for lock-in, I don't see them placing much higher than 5th. So I think 4th place is going to be a fun one. While I do think a majority of these teams are going to be fighting for 4th place, I think Lion is going to be the team that ends up in 4th place. Now, they're being the most interesting this offseason. They got Inspired, they got Berserker, they got Zamudo, but then everything fell apart. Zamudo can't join because of visa issues. From what I know, it's going to be a while, so they're running Big Dokes. They've got Big Dokes energy. Really cool. really neat team on paper with Saint and Berserker, big hands. Main questions I'm going to have: Inspired's been shown to not have a very good mental from his blow up on FlyQuest, the Rogue days. He just is known to not have the greatest mental, and he's not much of a vibe player. Now, Big Dokes, from what we saw from 100 Thieves, is a huge vibe player. So it kind of just depends on how they're all going to mesh together. They also got Isles in the bot lane, which from his little stint on Cloud9 in 2022 with Berserker, I don't think they meshed super well. He's been hopping around a lot in NACL. I do think he could be all right. But it's going to 100% matter on how Inspired in Dokes and Inspired in Saint mesh together. Otherwise, they got the hands to win it all. It's just a matter of will they have the brains behind it to win it all. So I think in Lock In, they're only going to be 4th. So in 3rd place, I'm actually going to be putting TeamLiquid. So I think TeamLiquid will eventually probably be best team in the league. I think Quid was phenomenal. Yon is probably the best AD carry in the West. Core JJ looks insane with him. I do think they have potential. They are team potential. However, I think it's going to take them a bit to get there. For starters, in Kespa, they didn't look too good. They didn't look bad, but I didn't quite look how they looked. I didn't quite like how they looked in Kespa Cup. Morgan is definitely amazing. He's Lord Morgan. He's been LCK forever, mid of the pack in the LCK, which means he should be pretty high up in LCS. However, something I've been waiting for to talk about till now is I think top lane in the LCS this year is absolutely stacked. You got Thanatos, who's amazing, Morgan, Impact if he can get his form. You still got Big Dokes, you got Castle, you got Photon. Like, they've got potential in the top lane to be good. It just kind of depends on Jose Diodo and Quid. Now, something controversial is I don't think Quid's success is the same without River. I think River was a big reason why Quid looked so good. If him and Jose Diodo can match up well and get him back to that level, TeamLiquid will be a force to be reckoned with, but I think it's going to take them time to merge. I think it's going to take them time to gel on a playstyle. So I've got TL off hands alone being 3rd. So 2nd place is a team that I didn't expect myself to be so excited for, but I definitely think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be dark horse for probably the entire season. If you're doing process of elimination, you probably already know. It's going to be Sentinels. I think Sentinels has potential to be 2nd or 1st throughout the entire year. So the main question mark I have, and everyone else has, is Impact. He is coming off what is probably one of the worst stints in his entire career. But, and all the stuff I've seen from him lately, he seems super motivated, seems super aggressive, seems like he wants to be back up to being a top laner in the league. If he can do that, I think Sentinels will be a force to be reckoned with. I think Rahalen, who he looked really fucking good on DSG. I think Dark Wings is probably going to be one of the next top I don't know if he's North American, but top North American prospects. I think he looked phenomenal, especially in that best of 5 against Cloud9. I think they're going to do really good. I don't know too much about Hambach, but Impact has always been the best at integrating new Korean rookies into the scene. So honestly, I think if this team meshes together and Impact gets back in form, I don't see any reason why they couldn't be 2nd. I don't see any reason why they might not even be 1st. Now, they're still going to run into the same issues a lot of the other teams run into of gelling, rookies, all that kind of stuff. But the bot half of the map from Darkwings down has all played together. Impact has always been weak side king. You can slot him into any single team. It's just going to be about how well they can gel in with Hambach. But honestly, Sentinels created a roster I'm really happy about, and I might even be a Sentinels fan after all this. We'll see how it goes, but Sentinels fans are kind of eating well with this team. Okay, so number 1 is clearly going to be Cloud9. Now, I do have Cloud9 bias. I got the Cloud9 posters, I got the Cloud9 Secret Lab chair, I got the Cloud9 jerseys, cool. Leaving my bias aside, with how this offseason has played out with visa issues, Kespa Cup, all that stuff, I think personally, if you lose Lock In under these circumstances as Cloud9, you really need to reevaluate what you're doing. They do have new coaches with I Will Dominate and Anero now being the head coach, and that is a small change. They also have APA now, who I think is going to be better for Blabber. I'm not too sold on him, but I do think he looks pretty solid. They looked really damn good at Kespa, a lot better than I expected them to look. But my main question mark here is, especially later on in the year, are they going to have the carry power to win. Now, I think early season, it's not going to matter. Cloud9's always been the king of spring. Every other team's running into visa issues, rookies, gelling problems, all that crap. Cloud9 isn't going to have that issue. Sven and Vulcan have been together for years. Sven, Vulcan, and Blabber have been together for years. Blabber and Thanatos have been together for years, and the four of them have all been together for a couple years now. So gelling shouldn't be a problem. At this point, you should already know what you want to do, how you want to do it. You're just slotting in an APA, who in my opinion is going to be a huge plug-and-play player. There are a ton of champ pool issues, which I know people talk about. I think they're a little overblown. I don't think he's hot dog shit on everything but Ziggs, but you know, to each their own. I do think he's going to open up Blabber for more carry picks. However, I don't know if I like Blabber on carry picks anymore. Over the last couple years, Blabber has evolved into a little bit more of a tank player. His carries don't look as good. Now, this could change with him playing with another player like APA again, as opposed to your JoJos, your Eminuses, your Perks, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Thanatos is easily top laner in the league. He was last year too. I think he got robbed of MVP, but it happens. But I don't know if he's going to have enough carry power across this squad. I don't see APA solo carrying games. Sven is consistent, don't get me wrong, but I don't see him solo carrying games. And lately I haven't seen Blabber solo carrying games. Put them all together early season, I think Lock In should be a wash. They should easily be first. I'd be disappointed if you're not. But moving on, I do think they're going to run into issues with the other teams evolving and powering up while they kind of already hit their ceiling, in my opinion. But we'll see. Everything could shake up. We'll see. All right, and that pretty much concludes my power rankings. Now, I know a lot of this is pretty much just vibes. I don't have the brain power to fucking understand like the meta changes, stats, that kind of stuff, and how that's going to affect. Although I do think top lane quests are going to be good. But for the most part, this is what I'm going to be ranking everyone, and obviously, I could be completely wrong. You know, Dig might surprise everyone, and for the first time in a decade, be good. Who knows? Who knows? But I do think this is going to be a very exciting season, and I'm very excited for what the season's going to be bringing. Now, I do plan on making videos every week, basically just recapping and covering the games, giving my thoughts on them, that kind of stuff. So if you like that, stick around because there's going to be a ton of LCS-related content. I also stream League damn near daily. Been playing a lot of mage bot lanes now because, you know, they're kind of OP, kind of stupid, kind of freelo. But in the meantime, if you like this, remember to like the video, subscribe, show it to your friends, see what your guys' power rankings are. Put your power rankings in the comments. If I'm an idiot, tell me I'm an idiot. I'm peak plat 3 for a reason, so we'll see. We'll see. But otherwise, hope everyone has a great day, and I'm really excited for the LCS season this year. Top 4 mid in the LCS.